Hello, welcome to the Connotation Points video Snark. I read bad books so that you don't have to. I'm continuing my review of Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. At the first video, go check out the others, links are posted below. Chapter 9. The man picks up right where we left off at the end of Chapter 8. He says that he's been keeping an eye on Juliet following the things that she did, all of these medical troubles and legal woes, that he had locked her up to see if she was actually dangerous or not, and the final test was to put Adam in there with her to see if she would hurt him. And I do suppose that it makes him refusing to respect her boundaries a little bit more understandable, but that doesn't make anything he said or did to Juliet okay. Julia just feels kind of betrayed by Adam. Adam, for his effort, at least has the dignity to look guilty. But the only thing that Juliet can think about is that she's nothing in Adam's mind. This was nothing more than a mission to him. Juliet refuses to accept the guy's lovely offer to join whatever it is that they're doing. When she says no, the guy threatens to torture her. He orders Adam to break her. Juliet protests that nobody can touch her, but the guy seems well aware of what Juliet can do and gives Adam a pair of gloves. Chapter 10. Adam takes Juliet from the room. Despite his orders to break her, it seems as though his time alone with Juliet has made him want to be nice to her. He takes her outside, where she's so struck by simply getting to breathe fresh air for the first time in over 9 months that she practically faints. They then get into a literal tank, because we're apparently going to be doing this now, and start to drive somewhere. As they're going, Juliet thinks about how the re-establishment has removed car manufacturers so that there's only one. This has made cars so expensive that most people can't have them, which Juliet is under the impression that people would use them for escape, clearly forgetting that desperate people would do literally anything to get away from a bad situation. As they continue along, Juliet looks out at the scenery. It's littered with trash and various debris and some sickly-looking flora. There's something called a compound, which I'm guessing are settlements for refugees that somehow have never been disbanded. The reestablishment kept promising people that the compounds are only going to be temporary until people figured out that this was good for them, but I get the feeling that this was a long time ago. The re-establishment destroyed life as we know it, not just things like language as Adam mentioned, but things like organized religion, holidays, and for some reason those disgusting, vile, filthy paintings that we like to hang above mantles, because those paintings were clearly the root of all evil, sarcasm. Save us! Join us! Re-establish society! The posters are still plastered on the walls. This book is trying so hard to be 1984, yet somehow misses the fact that the things that made 1984 so frightening was the fact that Orwell was pulling from current events. The idea of a movement sweeping in and demanding that people stop celebrating Christmas and Ramadan and remove mantle paintings is just absurd. The fact that Juliet even knows what not only Christmas is, but Ramadan and Diwali is just proof that this dystopian government is not yet to the point where they can be canceling major holidays and religions. They finally see some people walking around. Juliet thinks that there's two groups of people, those who are scared into submission and those who are fighting back. They pull up to a huge building at the center of this little town, or whatever the book is calling it. It's described as gray cement and 15 stories high. But in the same breath, Juliet also says that it's political headquarters camouflage among the masses. I don't know what that even means, but I've decided that I don't care. His lips are two pieces of frustration forged together. What does this mean? They go inside the building. Chapter 11. As Juliet walks into the building, the only thing she can think of is how much all of this cost, and how that money could have been spent towards things like clean drinking water, fresh food, and medical supplies. I know that I've been ragging on this book for the overly colorful metaphors, but this is one time where it actually works out quite nicely. Dirty money is dripping from the walls, a year's supply of food wasted on marble floors, hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical aid poured into fancy furniture and Persian rugs. I feel the artificial heat pouring in through air vents and think of children screaming for clean water. I squint through crystal chandeliers and hear mothers begging for mercy. Juliet can only think of all of the BS lies that the re-establishment fed them, the entire concept of feeding the people with one hand while shooting them with the other, or something like that. She looks around and thinks about how completely and utterly corrupt that they are, and here's the proof. She falls to the ground in something akin to a panic attack, where she struggles to breathe and starts dry heaving. She begs Adam to kill her, or if this isn't what's intended from this passage, then maybe the author should learn how to communicate better. Adam picks Juliet off the floor and carries her to a bedroom, which is just as lavishly decorated as what was previously described to us. Juliet begs to be left alone, but Adam says that he's under orders to keep watch over her, says that he's going to be moving in with her, I guess. Once again, if this was not what was intended in this passage, then the author really needs to learn how to communicate better. Adam orders her into the bathroom to change, and Juliet is floored with the idea of a bathroom attached to a bedroom. He also says that there aren't any cameras in the bathroom, with the implication that there are plenty in the bedroom. He says she needs to change for dinner with Warner, whoever that is. I guess the boss from the previous chapter. Adam tries to show her how to use the things in the bathroom like she's some kind of an idiot. He then starts to leave her, and every organ in my body falls to the floor. What? How? Juliet then starts to have a panic attack over being left alone, because what hasn't this girl had a panic attack over? Chapter 12. As Juliet washes herself with the fancy soaps and shampoo, she realizes that they intend for her to use these items and decide to help them, but she scoffs over the idea that she can be purchased, partly because she never grew up with these nice things and doesn't really care about them, but mainly because there's only one thing that she's ever wanted, and it's companionship. She's kind of upset to find that Adam has left the room despite him saying that he'd wait for her. She's even more startled by the clothes that she finds in the wardrobe. The sky is raining bricks right into my school. Nobody knows what any of this means. Stop it. She's even more disgusted at the thought that after all the reestablishment has put her and her family through, that they think that she's just going to be some dolly to dress up and parade around at their will. Adam comes back in, and it's probably worth noting that Juliet came out from the bathroom wrapped only in a towel. She gets angry when he asks that she put on a pretty dress and insists that she has clothes. He doesn't say anything when she only comes out wearing what I can assume is the stinky clothes she's been wearing for the past 9 months. She goes to a dining hall where there's more of that extravagant waste. Juliet is startled by the presence of flowers and thinks that there's no way that they could possibly be real. There's a lot of other people in the room, but she's the only woman, because of course this is going to be some weird sexist nonsense, isn't it? She sits down where Warner tells her that there were clothes for her to wear and that there's no reason for her to wear the dirty things she's currently got on. Juliet refuses to eat. I could eat every person in this room. Casually mentions that she's a cannibal? Juliet then says that she'd rather die than to break bread and be called in terms of endearment by these pigs. All conversation stops and all eyes are on her. Choose your words very wisely, Juliet. One word from me and your life here won't be so easy. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you going to do to her that you haven't already done? You've already started off your relationship with Juliet by locking her up without human contact and barely any food for 9 months. At this point, literally anything else would be an improvement. The man continues to be dismissive and insulting towards Juliet, implying that she's too stupid to know what she does and doesn't want to do. Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because sometimes I drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to support me. The first is watching this video as well as all of my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all of your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snarks on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Plus, you also get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snark so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $3 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well. $3 for every 5,000 words. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of erotic short stories and one full-length novel. I also sometimes run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do that just so you know when I might be offering more things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys.